Alrighty, traders. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Doc here from North America, and it is. Whoa, let's kill that volume. And it is. What is it? It is TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. So we'll check and see what's going on. I see pound started selling off a little bit. Nothing major. Just a few minutes ago, I guess the prime minister came out and said something about they're not going to. I guess they're going to start being responsible. That's what it really comes down to. UK Treasury hasn't asked the fiscal watchdog accelerate. Let's see, where is it? Basically, they said that they're not telling everybody how they're going to pump things up, but it says pound is soft. No reversal in fiscal stimulus plans. So I'm not sure what they're complaining about when it comes to fiscal stimulus plans. When you have QE for the last 13 years, I have no idea why they like to walk around and pretend, and the media loves to walk around and pretend that the things like this. I just don't get it. Anyhow, we see a lot about what's going on in the swap market. That's SWAP swap. Deutsche Bank is the number one swap trader in the world. The reason why no one will buy Deutsche Bank, why Deutsche Bank is kind of stuck in that slow, steady unwind. They had 72 trillion, not billion, not million, trillion in swaps. Okay, here we go. We got August core. We got lots of news coming out this morning here. August core PCE 4.9 was expected 4.7. So core price really moving up a little bit more. Okay. So in other words, they've taken the stock markets around the world here are kind of quiet, up down like 150, 200, up down, 20, 30, 40. It's nothing major. It's just vacillating back and forth. We got so many things going on, and it's Friday. You got to wonder. So anyway, the swap market has been having problems the last couple of nights. And we're always against the swap market to begin with. We find it ridiculous in an age of listed options. I don't understand why there is a swap market. Yeah, now see, Dow Jones has just gone from minus 70 to plus 52. It's just background noise. When you're at a $29,300 dollar value, I mean, what's $45 when you're dealing with 29,000? So, but the biggest noise I've seen so far was the swap market, where they do the money market funds and so forth, and the banks try to compensate in between the actual interest rate and the interest rate prevailing this day, type of thing. And swap markets are, at one point we were hoping that they would slowly unwind these ridiculous things and get the banks out of business, because that's what crushed the financial system back in 2008 was the swap market. So it was the collateralized debt obligations, and combine that with the swap market, it fell apart. And now we have quantitative easing, and full control of the financial markets is by the Federal Reserve and the Central Bank of Japan and European Central Bank. It's all by central banks. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Must be cocktail hour for a lot of people, so we're not seeing many people in here today. But in the end result is that the swap market is having its problems again over the last 24 to 48 hours, but nothing like 2008. So that's okay. Can't complain. I just thought I'd mention it since, what's it say? Here it goes. By Dukas Copy. United States Bureau of Economic Analysis has published its monthly personal consumption expenditures index. That's what it is. So PCE. And it was a little higher than they were expecting. So markets are flopping back and forth. We got the 10-year Treasury moving around a little bit. Nothing too bad. 6 bips. The yield on the 2-year is still around 420. And And just overall markets are just kind of mixed. You can see here. Let's just throw up the markets real quick on an intraday basis. You can see here the Nasdaq is down about anywhere from 4 to 10 points at any given second. Inside a second, and then Bitcoin now is down $185. This is the October contract we're looking at there. And Dow Jones Industrial Average, you can see right there, is down 22 points, 21, 14. Let's see if it goes plus here in the next second or two. Minus 17 again. It was minus 2, minus 21, minus 23. Just bouncing all over the place. And then the S&P 500 is up a half a point, down half a point, unchanged. Up a dollar and down $1.50. So just everything is just rocketing. It's a liquidity thing. Positions. Hey, Metho, and I'm glad, Robin. You feel any better today? Robin's fighting a cold, and I can hear it on the phone when I'm talking with him. So overall, the markets are just all just going sideways. End of the month. Usually there's dollar cost averaging again at the end of the month. Usually there's some equity push. There's not enough real action, or let's put it this way, somewhat. Well, that's good. You have the weekend to rest too, so that's cool. The markets are trying to do something, but I think we've said it over and over. The election thing has it all tangled up at this point. So let's see. Let's get rid of the Dukascopy interest rate thing. Where are you, mouse? There you are, mouse, right there. Okay. And you can see here's the dollar index going down for the last couple of days over on J4X. That is, and same thing with Chicago Quant. That's the 30-year. I thought I had it up there. There it is. And you can see it's just trying to lift up a little bit. This is the third day for us in the sell when it comes to Chicago Quant. And it's trying to lift up a little bit. The action in the currencies, are being pushed around by the swap market, which is a way of hedging your gains. Yeah, I know, that sounds crazy, huh? Hedging your gains. Why don't they just go buy put spreads? I don't understand why they go into the swap market, but that's besides the point. Really would love to see more a drift to the listed options market and the binaries and so forth. They're just safer and easier to deal with. So let's see what we got here. What is that? A CME dollar index. There we go. All right. From there, let's take a look at the euro. And we can always, anybody want to talk about the swap market, I'm willing to jump into it. There's a lot of good stories about it over the last 24 to 48 hours. Let's go to, there it is right there. As you see, cable's almost unchanged. It's in a daily buy. I don't know why anybody would put a headline out like it's getting crushed. It's not getting crushed. And there's the euro right there. Euro is a little bit weaker than the Swiss. I'm sorry, the GBP, the cable. But it's in a daily buy for 3 days. You see that strength there. Our weekly is doing its job. It's trying to get going here. And maybe next week we start to see something. I would think that, it's like the classic Wall Street thing. Buy rumors, sell news. So something's got to be getting closer and closer and closer. All right, let's put it up on J4X. The euro. Right there. There's the euro. And, they do swaps on all these things. The reason I'm talking about swaps this morning is they got them all excited. I don't get it. Why is the dollar heading down despite PCE inflation being above? I think that's what I was just mumbling about. I said something about, what did I say? I said buy the rumor, sell the news. I think that's what it is. What do you mean by something next week? I think the euro will start to really flirt. I really think the dollar is trying to top out in here. I really do. I think it's trying to top out. I think that there's money is looking at taking profits. I mean, you got to imagine there's a lot of money that's been made with the dollar running up like this. And if you don't take, what did I used to remember, Giannis? I used to say that if you have a position on and you don't, and you're making money and you don't take a profit when you have one, the next time you're, I know, if you have a position on and if you have a profit in that trade, if you don't take some of it or all of it or slice of it, the next time you're selling, you'll be losing money. That's what it was. That's what I used to say. Remember that? I used to say that all the time. Be right back, Robin. Sure. Have a cup of tea. And so I would say that's what I was mumbling about. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I think we're getting to a point now where they need to sell the news. The markets are between the swap market of the last 48 hours and the inflation numbers and the polls. We're seeing that more than likely government here is definitely changing. The question is how powerful will be the new government. I myself have been saying I think we're going to have a veto-proof majority. I really think we're going to pick up like 75, 80 seats, something like that. Other people are saying we're going to pick up 35, 40 seats. I think we're going to pick up double what everybody thinks. Battleground state polls are coming out left and right now where they are considered swing districts and states, and Republicans are polling anywhere from 21 to down to 9 percentage points ahead of them. So the media attempt to cut the bounce has fallen apart totally. And a responsible government will start to control some of this ridiculousness that we've been seeing for a decade since quantitative easing. Look at Sweden, look at England, and look at Italy now. They've got supply side Reaganomics, Trumponomics going on. They're all talking lowering the interest rate, the tax brackets down, less government regulation, start the drill for oil, and frack and build pipelines, crank up the nuclear power plants. I mean, that's what's going on. We're starting to see the adults come back in the room. I always thought of socialism as like some type of child's game to begin with, so I guess that'd be the best way to describe it, is the adults are coming back. Responsibility. So there's the euro. You can see that there's a fine, firm-looking euro. I guess it would probably get up to the 102 area, break the century mark again. From there, let's take a look at cable. And there's cable, trading up in the 110s. It's been really trying to push up. You can see it there on J4X. There it is in Chicago Quant, almost unchanged for the day. Yesterday it settled around 111. 11 is it? What's that? 111.15. Right now it's trading at 110.80 something. So it's not that far off at all. And again, another one of those weeklies trying to perk their heads up. And we'll see what kind of action we get. But look at the width of the bars. You can see it. The high and the lows are pretty wide. They're saying over in the swap market liquidity and the bid and offers are wide right now. The swap market is an example. I don't talk about it barely at all around here, but I watch the swap market, and it's, when they get wide like that, things are getting nervous. It's a liquidity thing. It's a lack of liquidity. That's what it comes down to. And it's basically institutions using banks to hedge their gains. And they call it risk. But as far as I'm concerned, they're hedging their... I mean, you buy a bond, why do you need to put a swap on it, honestly? But they do. They start hedging their bond. And it's like, just let the thing be a bond. It'll mature. You'll get your money back. Done. Gone. I mean, trying to make an eighth all the time on $1 billion is, it's not really investing as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it is. If you're buying low and selling high, it's okay. But half the time the Europeans have been basically buying low and selling it lower. So, there's the cable. And it's my cup of tea I'm sipping on. Let's go over to the Swiss and see what the Swiss is doing. Swiss 3 days in a sell right there on J4X. No, I'm sorry, that's Chicago Quantum throwing up and down. And here's J4X right there. There it is. 3 days there too. See the green line broken underneath. It's trying to change. I didn't think it was going to take out the century market like it had done back in June. But it has been acting pretty strong. And due to the fact when you look at Chicago Quant, it's been in that weekly buy now for 3 full weeks. Oh, Janos, did you get the new email from yesterday? And were you able to open up the spreadsheet? So there we are there with the Swiss while I'm waiting to hear about that. It's like the way the Mexican peso was. It's kind of moving up. And again, the Swiss, when we scrunch this up and look at it closer, you can see it's trapped in the new range here now since the dawn of inflation, where the Federal Reserve actually accepted the fact that we have inflation and it's not necessarily transitory anymore. Speaking of which, Mrs. Yellen, there's talk that she's gone. That'll be the first person to leave Mr. Biden's administration, but there's talk that Mrs. Yellen is going to leave after the election. That should be interesting. She's been a real disappointment. We were hoping that she would be a little more responsible, but I never thought she was responsible to begin with, so you can only get so much out of a rock, you know what I mean? How much blood can you get out of a rock? But in this case here, you can see the Swiss has been moving up. But of late, the last couple of days, it's had that pressure on it from the daily sell. But look at it, it hasn't really, it runs up and then drops and closes around there. It goes down again, makes a teeny weeny little low. So that's because we're in a weekly buy. This thing doesn't want to let go. It's being very firm. There's a lot of longer term money, week to week, month to month money that's hold the thing up. All right, from there we go over to the Turkish lira. And there is the Turkish lira against the dollar right there. And whatever spike that was, it's done and over with, and we're just playing around with I guess it's a whole new range. 1900, somewhere along the line, it was at 1900. And you can see it's just in another weekly buy for, since February. So it's like 28 weeks, 29 weeks, over half a year now in a weekly buy. Let's check out the Euro Turkish lira over on J4X. There it is right there. You can see it's moving up. 18.13. Right now we're trading at 18.54 in the dollars pair of trades. So, and let's put it up on Chicago Quant right there. We're in a daily buy for 3 days. 3 days now? Or is it 2 days? Yeah, 3 days. 3 days now. So they're pushing that up. Looks like the weekly is making a threat too. You can see that right there. Very, very close. Just on the edge. And if this thing gets into a buy, wow, they're going to really start taking this thing back up again. That's what they've been doing. They've been taking this, the Turkish lira has been... what did I see? I saw President Erdogan say something from Turkey about... Whose currency? Oh, the British pound. I think they were talking about the British pound. I don't know why he was talking about the British pound, but he was talking about the British pound, and someone said, how about your currency? He didn't, he stopped talking. What is it with some of these people where they think that everybody else doesn't know? It's like a secret. Oh, my currency's gone from 1 to 18. Yeah, definitely weird. All right, so there is the euro Turkish lira, and showing that, well, in this case here, they're actually pushing it down. It was did the highs earlier today in European hours, so now it's kind of paring back in there, but still in the buy, and the weekly is really flirting. I'll tell you, if they take this out at its highs of the day, this thing could slide into the weekly buy. Now from there we go over to Canadian. Yes, so there it is. There's Canadian. Canadian's heading back up again. And itself for a couple of days, it has done nothing good about it. And that's why, you can't respect it, because we're in a weekly buy. So you don't want to try to trade this thing unless you have to actually do something with it, because you're importing and exporting. And then I can understand you getting involved, but that's about it. Over here, we'll put up oil, because we always look at oil and the Canadian at the same time. So there is U.S. oil right there, and it's going down in value, and obviously Canadian is going up against the dollar. No, it's losing money against the dollar, and that is normally the way it rolls. Alrighty, Janos, again, did you get the email that I sent over? Just checking, see if you could open up the spreadsheet, and then we do the reverse. We'll put Canadian in on Chicago on J4X right there, and put oil up over here. And there is the spot oil. See, it's moving down a little bit. Some pressure there. Robin, you're back. Excellent day. You didn't miss much. We seen Swiss is doing some firmness, and Turkish lira is doing its normal thing, and now we're looking at the Canadian against the crude oil. And you can see there, crude oil has been a daily buy for a third day here. It's having some issues with that, but it's in that weekly sell, so you can't take any of these bounces too serious. Just know not to be short, that's all. And then over on, so you can see here, Canadian on J4X right there, like that. So it's trying to roll over the way it should be trying to roll over, because, no, I'm sorry, it should be going up. It should be going up. Because when oil goes down in cost, Canadian normally loses value against the dollar. Definitely a petrol currency, that's for sure. All right, from there we go over to, we do gold against the South African rand. There's gold. Gold is trying to lift up again today, showing more life, playing with the daily buy. It's been very close. The weekly is trying to turn up, and let's put South African rand up on there. So that means that rand should be going down. It's trying. Look at the lines there. It's trying. Let's see what they're doing over here. Yeah, it's just very tight. Maybe it'll start to roll. Usually the currency leads compared to the Canadian. The Canadian can more of a follower and confirmer, whereas the South African rand usually will lead the metals market. So this could be something you want to take a peek at over the next couple hours, see if there's a shift. Let's see, with that strength, let's finish off the two currencies. The yen right there. You can see the yen still holding. Oh, look at that. Okay, so they're trying to put it in the sell now. And still in a weekly buy. So you don't want to battle that one, that's for sure. Let's put it up over on J4X. And there's the yen up on J4X, showing that it's been trying to climb. And now we've got a red dot going on, and it's trying to push itself into the sell, but at the same time, that weekly looks awful firm. It's almost like it looks like it's building a base for another move on the upside. And Bank of Japan has said they have drawn the red line not to let this thing move much further past the 145. All right, now from there, we slide over to the Mexican peso. There's the peso. Peso's showing some weakness. We saw it go up and hit the 50 percentile 2 days ago. It's not moving really here. So went into the sell off of this, and it's not, ever since it hit the 50 percentile right there, that's the green line. So we Fibonacci the range that we identify. So that's the bottom, that's the middle of the green line, and see if we can get you a better view of the top. There you go, and there's the top. So we Fibonacci the range. That's what we do. It's always fun. It shows how our math is ahead of the Fibonacci sequence, but it's always interesting to see it and watch it, and see how it acts. And following our math with the Fibonacci makes it a lot easier. That is for sure. All right. From there, we're done the currencies unless someone wants to see something. Now let's go over to the metals complex. So there's gold. And we're seeing South African Rand kind of just flat. Let's go take a look at silver. Silver is really battling. It closed in a daily buy last night. The numbers all came in through later on, and we saw we're in a buy. So we're in a buy there. You can see we're playing with the weekly buy there. That's cool. And because of that strength, I wonder what platinum is doing. So let's go run right to platinum, and then we'll come back to copper. But there's platinum. It's very close to the weekly buy number. If they put a charge into this thing and it makes new highs, there's a good chance this thing could actually slide into the weekly buy. This is going to probably be one of those nail biters. Oh, there we go. There's Janos. They spend $20 billion US dollars to do that move. Is that what it was? And more. Okay, now the yen is back where it was. Right. Well, they just want to slow it down. That's what it is. They have left $100 billion in reserves. They can hit it 5 more times. And I, there was that concern. I guess it was Tuesday or Wednesday, worrying that maybe that could have been part of the swap market problem. Is that maybe they would sell the swap market bashing that's going on right now at the moment. It's in the government. It's in the interest rates area. I mean, everybody does swaps on all kinds of things. Forex, gold, stocks. They do them in all of them. But that's where the market is getting. It's the overnight rate that's getting freaked out. So it wouldn't surprise me, just exactly what you're saying. That makes sense. But I'm in the camp, I guess I would say, that I think that if Japan needs money, the Federal Reserve will lend it to them, and we won't see it. So it won't matter. Maybe it'll be in a report. 6 months from now, you'll see that Japan had X amount. But I doubt they're going to liquidate. We talked about this yesterday. I don't believe, and I should have talked about the swap market from that yesterday, but I thought today I'll talk about it, and because of the action that they're getting, and I like to be up to date on what's going on, so that when someone tells you over the weekend that the swap market has collapsed, it hasn't collapsed. It's just much wider bids and offers at the moment. So I'm kind of convinced that's where we're at. I don't think we're going to see liquidations. I don't see China liquidating their bonds. They have nowhere else to put them. I don't see Japan liquidating their bonds. I mean, they need those assets probably to firm up the market. And that's kind of, in many ways, what a swap does in the end result. It firms up an area, but someone has to take that risk to firm it up. And the banks have taken that risk over the decades now and have lost their shirts. And that's why we're in quantitative easing, because the banking system collapsed from government interference. So it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? I used that in physics a couple days ago on something. What did I use it on? Someone was asking something on one of my physics sites, and I actually answered. And in the end, I put out there something like chicken and egg. Check out copper. I saw a report. Now, when I go to copper, I think of China. That's what I do. I think of China to instantly see the copper market. And I understand, was it youth unemployment is at a record high. And I'm thinking, they're communists. How do they have unemployment to begin with? They don't do that stuff, right? But they put these numbers out. And they say that stuff. So, yeah. So, and then when I look at copper, it's at the low end of the range now. Obviously, China is at the low end of its range financially. So, you can see that they've been having those issues. I mean, this thing was bouncing between the fours up to almost $5, $4.75. And so forth. It was doing that for a while, and now it's back to 2021 type, or I guess 2020 numbers. That's what it is. Down playing with the $3 area, 3.25, 3.5, or more like 3 3/4, 3.25, 50% range. And there's no real. And you know how China does it. I mean, they build a skyscraper, let it sit there for 4 or 5 years, and then they knock it down and then build another one. So I mean, they're wasting resources. So at least I can say this: I don't feel bad when I see our politicians wasting resources, because at least more times than not, they're actually doing something productive. The other 30 or 40% can be super unproductive, of course, and that's why we have this inflation now. But compared to, was it Roosevelt, President Roosevelt, who was a socialist? He had people digging holes and then filling them back up again with dirt, and then go somewhere else and dig a hole and then fill it back up with dirt again. So unproductive types of things like that only slow an economy. The socialists actually think that generates growth, but it doesn't generate anything more than slowing an economy. All right, now we had Roosevelt type of programs after 2008 crash. Let me think. Did we? Yes, of course we did. Yes. Dodd-Franks and they tried to do exactly, because Obama was in and he was a socialist. So, but the rules for those were better than digging and filling holes. I agree. Or, building a skyscraper. How about letting somebody in there to live for 5 years and then knock it down? Eastern Europe forced drunks to do hard labor. Oh, really? How much hard labor can you get out of a drunk? That should have been interesting. They still remember those as good times. Of course they do. Responsibility and functionality. As I always say, everybody has to swing their own sword in the end. They got 100 LVL, or approximately about 200 euros per month. Yeah, back then that was pretty good money, wasn't it? I think that was good money back then. They had a community and drank beer during each break like crazy. Totally makes sense to me. I mean, it's irresponsible, of course, but yes, that makes total sense. Oh, speaking of which, again, did you get the email, and did the spreadsheet open up for you? Just double checking. Yeah, 1/3, that would make about sense, No, you know what? I'm using that. What am I using? I'll tell you what I'm using, and then my Excel tries to grab it. But use this to open it up. Open Office. That's what I'm doing it in. Open Office. But everybody's machine, for some reason, when you send it to them, automatically tries to convert it to Excel. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Try to put Open Office on your phone. That's what it's called, Open Office. What else we got going on there? All right, so that's copper, reflecting how China's doing at the moment at the low end of its range. That's pretty much where it comes down to. Did you hear that thing I was saying, Giannis? Youth unemployment's at its all-time highs in China right now. I saw that headline this morning. I was like, what? Didn't know they're allowed to have unemployment. All right, from there, let's go over to The energy sector. Oh, I didn't even look at silver on J4X. I just want to see what it's doing. There it is. So it's trying to lift up just like we are over here. Let me just show you. It's flirting with the daily buy and the weekly. Well, it's in the daily buy. It's flirting with the weekly buy right now. Look at that. So if they hold on, this thing could actually close in a weekly and daily buy. And I'm looking at the platinum and I'm thinking to myself, well, why isn't platinum rocketing up? And that's bothering me, because the platinum seems to lead this thing. So they need to get the platinum going. If they get that platinum going, this could be some real action here. Now that's the, what is that? That's the, let's do this. Let's make a copy of that. That's the October contract. Let's put the January contract in. PL. There it is right there. See if there's a big difference, No, no difference. This is the Jan one. All right. Now let's jump over to the energy sector and we'll take a look at Brent on J4X right there. Trading at 86. I think yesterday it was up to 88. So there was some good life in that. And then let's see. So there is Brent. Let's put up spot crude. You can see it's down today, having its issues. I think it closed around 82 and change. It's down about $1 and change. Let me see if I can see how much it's up or down. Crude oil is let's see. I know where to get it. I can get the price right over here. There we go. And so we're looking at crude oil down about 45 cents. That's all. That's not that bad. Then from there, you can see, I guess, what was fascinating is yesterday, that natural gas company in Spain was down to 24.10 or something like that, 24.05. They've really jumped on that. That's nice. That has to mean that gas is coming down somewhere in Europe. It just has to. If this thing's falling down. Look at it, 20. Wow, they're really banging on it. I'm telling you, we get that super majority, we'll be exporting natural gas to you in a heartbeat. We will be exporting natural gas. We'll be drilling. The pipelines will be opened up. It'll be like Mr. Biden has been retired. It's like as if we're running without a president and the Republicans control the checkbook. We doubled prices at the consumer level for this season. Oh, I'm sure of that. I'm surprised it's not even worse. I heard at one point it was trading at $37 a cubic foot when we were trading at like $8 a cubic foot. So natural gas in Europe has been through the roof. And you can see this Spanish company has fallen from like 30 down to 23.5. So something on a positive way is happening in the natural gas sector in Europe. Maybe, this is like, as I was saying earlier, buy the rumor, sell the news. In this case here, more polls are coming out even faster. I would have thought we'd have to wait about another 2 weeks. But the polls are coming out, and the Republicans are dominating major league. I mean, big time. So now the question is, do they get the 80 seats that I think they're going to get, or do they get like the 40-some-odd seats? Either way, they're going to stop a lot of this stuff going on. But we get the 80 seats, it's going to be like as if Trump is president again. Let's see, what do we got here? 84 euro per cubic. Wow. In the east. Big prices you see are at the terminals in the west. Wow. Jeez. What a crush. And it's getting cold. People freeze to death. They've got to resolve this stuff. Government interfering with the natural course of life. Just bad stuff. Bad, bad, bad. Crude is backing off more and more. And then let's see the back month. Let's take a look at Jan right there. And it's just holding on to the daily buy on Jan, but it's got a red dot. And it's in the weekly sell, so it has that look like it wants to drop more. The big prices you see are at the terminal. Right. So at this point in time, the energy market is trying to lift. Let's see, drop back down again. Let's see where nat gas is here in the States. Natural gas, right there. So it's trading at $6.82 a cubic foot. Let's see, right? Let's see, where am I at? I'm trying to find the natural gas here on J4X. Where are you? It's right around here somewhere. Usually I don't look at it because there it is, right above that. There we go. Yeah, so you see that 6.827, and it's not letting go. It just seems like they're trying to drift it down. It fell into the weekly sell last week. You see that there. It went into that daily sell up in the $9 area and was in that for a bunch of days, for like 2 weeks. Then we went into a buy, and it's just been hesitating, and we're still staying in that weekly sell. They could do another rollover. Again, where are we at now? We come back on Monday. It's October 3rd, putting us basically a month away, 4+ weeks away from the election. Money's going to have to find a place to park itself. And so that's what it really comes down to. And the objective is to make money. So, it'll be fascinating. If they get this super majority, I can't wait to see what the stock market does. I mean, it might just go up. The Dow could go up 3,000 or 4,000 points. It could be just a rampage for a couple of weeks, or at least a couple of days. Let's put it that way. For a whole week, it could be like a 2,500 point up move, that type of thing, and then they'll back it off and wait for everything to play itself out. It's just. This is going to be the most astonishing election I've ever seen in my lifetime. I have a friend. He's older than me. He's involved in politics too. We were all boating and heading to a restaurant, and we talk every so often, and just because he's a Democrat and he's a high-ranking Democrat. Matter of fact, we're always getting a Trump hat on him every so often when we got him, throw a hat on him, take a snapshot, and then he takes it off. It's like, hey, stop that, And the end result is that he's amazed as much as I am about what's going to happen in this election, And he says he'll be able to afford a fourth wife. He's been married like 3 times, but anyway, that's besides the point. We'll see. This is going to be astonishing in many different forms. Right, from there we drift over to, we're done the natural gas. So let's take a look at the stock indices. Let's get the short term up there. And we'll put, what we'll do is go like this with the S&P 500. We'll start off with the S&P 500 right there. You can see that just a little, it's been pressure on that on this daily for weeks. And let's put it over here. There's the daily there. We were flirting with a daily buy, but it seems to have rolled over now. So we were above, now we're below. Not going to take much to do either. It's in that long weekly sell now since the 4,000 area, and now it's down at 3,600. So that weekly has been a real pressure point, and you got into the daily buy there for that bounce. But you're still on that short side here, so you had to be flat for this, so you don't get punished. You don't lose money on the short because you're hedged. Then you get this sell-off, and then back in the sell again, and it's a winner, chicken dinner, and then couple days up, you stay flat, and then you go back into a sell here. Another winner chicken dinner situation. It's been in a sell since. What's that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, going on an 8th day now. So there's been some good steady pressure on the markets. Now, when we look at them on a short-term basis, an intraday basis here, you can see it's down only 2.5 points. Yeah. So again, volatility is very active in its own way, but it's not death-defying in the sense of the action itself. Matter of fact, that the last I saw the VIX. Let's see, where's the VIX? Where do I have the VIX? Do I have it here? The VIX is, no VIX there. So let me find just a VIX. Come on, VIX, where are you? Let's see, right here. I'll find it in a second. Right there. There we go. VIX is in a daily sell for the last 2 days. So they're not being fooled by this action. Money is not like running and trying to protect itself. No, that's the wrong one. Let's close that. Oh no, what did I do? I closed the wrong thing, didn't I? So let's go with that. Open that again. And then let's go find the VIX. File open. There it is right there. That's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, looking kind of mellow. And there's the VIX. So we went into the sell-off of this big sell-off. It's still in there. It's not getting anything. Now, the weekly's been in a weekly buy for most of this move here. This is one of the longer ones we've seen in a while. It's getting very close to rolling back into the weekly sell. I'd imagine that could be next week's business in the end. Next week's business will be in October, and there will be talk about, they'll be just looking for the end of this long, I want to call it dream or nightmare of out of control government spending these last 2 years. All right. So from there we go over to the intraday again. And you can see, that's not it. Right there. There we go. So you can see they've sold down the S&Ps, but again, it's only down 2 points. And when we go and look at it over here, you can see the same thing. It's just kind of was flirting with a daily buy. Now it's not. It's bouncing around. It's the end of the month. Usually they try to dollar cost average in at the beginning and the end of the months. We'll see if the buyers outnumbered the sellers or vice versa. Then let's go to the Tech 100. Now that's in a daily buy for like 3 days, I think, last I saw. There it is right there. No green there. Okay, but you can see the green line up above on the daily. Yeah, it's been in a daily buy from here, and it's still holding on to a daily buy by the hair of its chinny chin chin. Let's widen this out a little bit like that. There we go. And you can see we went into the weekly sell like everything else back in here, back in late August, early September, and it's lower for the month. That's what it comes down to, being in a weekly sell. Now, let's see. Let's take a look at it on a very short-term intraday. There it is there. Down 20 points. This thing can be up or down 20 points in a matter of 13 or 14 seconds. It doesn't take much. And you can see here, it's rolling over a little bit. See if this tries to turn up, and it tries to take out. Notice it's been hesitant, making lower highs since the high there of what's that? 8:15. So just about a half hour after the news that came out on the PCE, you can see the pressure has been put into that area now. And so what we're seeing here is that there's the Tech 100. This is an index that is nowadays basically the leader of our economy because it has Microsoft and Cisco Systems, the networking company, and Intel, the chip manufacturer, and AMD, and it just goes on and on and on. Nevada, for processing, and and it just goes on. Tesla, Apple, Facebook, you name it, it's in this index of the 100. It's the top 100 companies in that area. Google and Amazon are in there. So, see that pressure on it there. Now we're down 29 points. Now, we looked at the daily, and you can see that there. Just flirting around. Just kind of quiet. Then let's go over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's see. Dow Jones, there it is right there. And it's trying to lift up too. But it's got a red dot. But it's the histogram is above the zero line. The weekly's got some work to do. So again, it's almost like it's next week or the following week's business, Okay. Oh, so okay. Now the dollar strengthened. Did it? Let's see. Let's go over to the dollar index itself. The generic dollar. Yeah, it's trying to climb back up. But we're in that sell still. So it looks like what we will do is we'll finish off in a weekly buy with no problem. And the dollar could close in a daily. I doubt it. No. Looking at the way the dollar index is right there, doesn't look like it's going to close in a daily buy. So it'll just close in a daily sell for another day. I think there's profit taking out there. I just think there is. You got to take some profits. When you have a dollar that's been running like this, you got to take some profits. It's end of the month. It's becoming the end of the year. October is the last quarter, so you would think there'd be some profit taking, and the dollar would be sold down over the next. Yes, that's another thing too, is that it'll be a wild swing if we get what we've been talking about when it comes to the election. But then it'll probably calm down, and they'll probably start to think long term, and then they'll start to sell some dollar. And thinking, okay, well, we got some good profits here. Let's get out of let's get out of it. Let's take our money and run. And that's usually the way it goes. These funds are paid to make money. They're not just paid to trade. All right, from there. All right, let's find. Let's see, what did we do? Let's see what the. Where's it at? The Russell 2000 is doing. And then we'll take a look at Bitcoin too. I switched over contracts to October there in the Bitcoin. You can see here the Russell, 3 days in the daily buy. The weekly's only been in a weekly sell for 3 weeks. This will be the third week. This is a very speculative index. You get a feel for. Look at it. They didn't take. Did they? Yeah, they did. They took out the lows of. July. Did they take out the lows of? No, they didn't. They didn't take out the lows of June like everybody else did. So this is a very speculative 2,000 stocks that one of them could be an Apple one day and the other 1,999 could be bankrupt. So it's a very speculative indice. So when we see this thing acting pretty firm, it says to us that money is trying to slip in. It's in a daily buy for a couple of days, but it's got that weekly sell, so it's basically let's just watch and see. And then let's go over to the Bitcoin. Let's see, where did I put that? Well, there's Bitcoin there, and that's the September contract. And so you can see the pressure there, and it's looking identical to the October contract. I did have it somewhere around here. I'm trying to figure out where I put it. I thought I put it on this. DAX. No. Okay. Okay. All right. So there's the Bitcoin on a daily basis. And it's holding up much better than everything else. It's been locked in that 2,000 range. And when you look at it from September to October, it's almost up for the month. That's the amazing thing, is that whereas everybody else is down for the month, the Bitcoin is basically up for the month. I'm trying to think where I put the Bitcoin. Oh, I know where I put it. It's right here. Here's the October contract. Right there. Look at that. It's flirting a little bit now with the sell. But look at the weekly. This is the October contract. And when it comes to the month, it started off, there's the beginning of the month right there. It's very close to being, let's see, it looks like it, okay, so August, the contract closed at $20,095. And now we're about $800 below it. Okay, so it's joined in with the rest of them. Okay, and that's the first day of September, and it closed at 19,785. So no, and the high today is 645. So it's got some more work to do. So it's doing the same thing as the rest of the stock indices. But again, you look at the crypto, and the cryptos follow through on them. All right, traders, that's about it. It's been fun. We were looking at the swaps a little bit today. What are they good for? That's going to be the title today. Swaps. What are they good for? Because as far as I'm concerned, with the listed options market, there is no reason why anybody would need to go to a bank for a swap anymore. You could build your own. You would think they'd have that capacity. All right. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all on Monday on TGIM. Thank goodness it'll be Monday. And so, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Be safe, be smart, have a good weekend.